Camera 1, Camera 2, Camera 1, Camera 2, Camera 1, Camera 2. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I've been quoting Wayne's World a lot lately, and if you haven't seen Wayne's World, highly recommend it. It is definitely a classic. What's going on everyone, Alex here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a comparison between the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, and yes, that is still a mouthful, versus the Canon EOS R. Now before I reveal which camera is which, would you like to take a moment to guess? Leave a comment down below which camera is camera A and camera B. Pause, and I'll wait, okay? Go ahead. Talk here. Okay, you left your guesses? If you guessed camera A was the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K and camera B was the Canon EOS R, you were right. Yes, you were right. Now, in my opinion, it's a pretty unfair comparison because one camera is a dedicated cinema camera and the other is a dedicated stills camera that just happens to take pretty good video. I mean, technically the Pocket 4K can shoot stills, but honestly, I mean, come on. If you're shooting stills with the Pocket 4K, shame on you. Shame. One can shoot beautiful raw 4K video while the other can shoot beautiful 4K cropped video. But can they play well with one another? With proper lighting, I definitely think so, but once you go outside and start testing the dynamic range of each camera, that's where you can see the differences. All right, so we have the Pocket 4K ISO 400 native, aperture 1.8, B-RAW 8:1, variable ND 5 stops. Next, Canon ISO 400 native as well, aperture 1.8, variable ND 5 stops. Here is the Pocket 4K graded, and it looks great. Shadows and highlights are intact. Everything looks good. The Canon, everything looks pretty good. The highlights and the skins are just ever so slightly almost blown out, but it's still pretty usable. Now here's the Pocket 4K with variable ND of 4 stops. Still looking pretty good. Here is the Canon, and it has 4 stops of variable ND as well, and as you can see, it doesn't look that good. Here is the Pocket 4K with 4 stops of ND graded, and it still looks great. Highlights and shadows intact. The Canon, on the other hand, this is not usable at all. I wouldn't use it. Here is the Pocket 4K with 3 stops of ND, and you can slightly see my skin kind of blowing out. And the Canon, just absolute garbage. Would not use that at all. And here is the Pocket 4K graded, and again, yeah, you can kind of see my skin slightly blowing out, but actually pretty usable. And the Canon, yikes. Would not use that. These cameras have been around for quite a while, so there's really no need to go over their specs, but they definitely have their places. The Pocket 4K can shoot RAW internally, and it's beautiful. And not to mention now, it can shoot Blackmagic RAW, which is even better. I mean, seriously, it is awesome. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've never shot ProRes on this camera, not once. That's how good the RAW is on this camera. It's just such a joy to use. On the other side, you have the Canon EOS R with its cropped 4K video, which is kind of a bummer because it's a full frame camera. Me personally, I'd like to utilize that full frame look, so that's why I just usually stick to 1080p and upscale it to 4K, which looks pretty good. I mean, it's pretty sharp 1080p. Another plus with the EOS R is if you pair it with an external recorder like the Atomos Ninja V and shoot 4K, you get 10-bit 422. What you're seeing right now. All the talking head bits with the Canon EOS R, 4K, 10-bit 422. Then it can shoot 30 megapixel stills, and the photos from this camera are absolutely beautiful. Don't get me wrong, I have been tempted by other cameras recently, specifically Fuji, or should I say Fuji Juice, looking at you, Zach. But then I take a photo with the Canon EOS R and I just can't. I can't get rid of the camera because that's how good the photos are. It doesn't have 2 card slots, and some would say that is not professional because it doesn't have 2 card slots. I 100% disagree with anyone who says that, because I have used this camera countless times on professional shoots, and guess what? It's been professional every time. I love both cameras for their differences. And what do I mean by that? Well, when I'm gonna be shooting a professional video, more than likely, I'm gonna go towards the Pocket 4K. And when I want a camera that's just easy to shoot with and requires very little rigging, if any, then the R is the way to go. Does that mean the R can't shoot video professionally? Absolutely not. This is a testament right now. I mean, I'm shooting with the R and it looks fantastic. But if I had to choose one camera between the two, well, that's a good question. Personally, I'd probably choose the Pocket 4K because my background, first and foremost, is video. The image I've been getting out of this camera has been absolutely amazing. I do love my EOS R because I have been getting more into photography lately, especially if you follow my Instagram account, shameless plug. But if I had to let one go, it'd probably be the R. Plus, I have a cell phone that takes pretty awesome photos, and I think I'll have a video on that later, so be on the lookout for that. At the end of the day, we're always comparing this camera with that camera, when really we should be deciding which features are more important to us, and then master that camera. I've seen people post amazing work shot on old ass equipment, but they found something that worked for them and mastered it. So go out there, find you some old ass equipment, and start creating. Well guys, that does it for me on this comparison video. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you aren't already. Tap that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Till next time, shoot to create.